Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So, have you ever wondered why it has to be so complicated to deliver information in or standard equipment information in the Norwegian oil and gas sector? What if there was one single data archive, one single source of truth, where all the demands from the operators are stated clearly and the suppliers can deliver one place? Now, it should come as no surprise that perhaps EqHub could offer a solution to some of these problems. So if you've had any of these thoughts earlier, we believe that this webinar will give you some valuable insights and make it worthwhile to stay with us for the next 30 minutes. So, my name is Lars Ole Fjørtoft. I'm working with communications here at Offshore Norge. Perhaps you've seen me in similar webinars before. And with me today, I have Yngve Nilsen. Would you like to present yourself, Yngve?
Yes, I can. Thank you. My name is Yngve Nilsen, and I'm employed in Offshore Norge, working with EqHub, responsible for that, and also some other services related to the material and information handling for material.
Yes, thank you, Yngve. So let me just give you some practical information before we start. So, as you can see, we have a chat in the bottom right corner. We also have a questions tab, and you can use these to ask questions throughout the webinar. So feel free to ask anything EqHub related, and we will give the last 10 to 5 minutes to answer any of your questions. In addition, the recording is available immediately after the webinar. So hang back 2 to 3 minutes if you would like to review some of the information that we have talked about. Also, we will send you the recording on YouTube tomorrow in the follow-up email you will get in your inbox. So without further ado, Yngve, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So today, we're going to look a little bit on the overall picture related to EqHub. So what we would like to do today is to have a little recap of 2022, what happened and what did we achieve, and some main topic that we have been working on. And then we will also talk a little bit about the next steps for EqHub in 2023. And then in the end, there will be, as Lars Ole states, a Q&A session if there are any questions related to EqHub. So,
yeah, let's go to the next one.
Yeah. So we will now do a little recap around EqHub, around what happened and what have we done related to EqHub in the industry in 2022. So we started 2022 with the fact that all operators, the oil and gas operators and energy operators in Norway and the members of Offshore Norway, they've decided to implement EqHub and start the implementation of EqHub in 2022. So that was the starting point. We also made a press release from Offshore Norway that the whole industry, from the requirements step or point of view, now will use EqHub. And the initiative has also been supported by the other operators who don't have operations but are part of the license ownerships and so on. And we've also had support from the major EPCs like Aker Solutions, Aibel, and so on. So we started this year with a big push from the major stakeholders in the industry that, okay, EqHub is to be used. And then we have worked with all the operators during 2022 to implement EqHub as the solutions for handling of equipment documentation and information. And then during the year, there's a few things that is worth mentioning related to the implementation. One thing is the subsea delivery. There's been some challenges around a common standard for subsea documentation, but we've been working on that, and it's been launched a functionality in EqHub so that it's also possible to deliver subsea information in EqHub. We have also taken over the ready TIRC solution, and we have started a process now to implement that as part of the EqHub. EqHub, we have also started because of this industry initiative, and everyone is going to implement this. We also have a big focus on information to spread the word about the EqHub. So in that case, we have had quite a few webinars like this one, and we have also launched a lot of other sites where we can post and promote information about the EqHub, like LinkedIn, like YouTube channels, and so on. Also, what's worth mentioning is that the biggest operators on the Norwegian continental shelf, Equinor, from the 1st of September, they have promoted and specified in their requirements to all suppliers and contractors that EqHub is going to be used. So then it's through the requirements official that EqHub will be used on all deliveries. And also related to the subsea functionality, related to requirements, we have also implemented technical solutions in EqHub to solve the subsea deliveries. In the end of this year, and this fall and the winter, we have started a process related to a new technology for EqHub. So we'll talk a little bit about that later, but we have started the process, and there's no a plan for a new technology update in 2023. And also, we have opened an onboarding center, and by that we mean an information center where all users can see videos on how to and so on related to EqHub, how they are going to implement it, how they are going to use it, and so on. So that's some of the major events for EqHub. So we have spent 2022 to lift the initiative, to communicate the initiative. And then we can dive a little bit into some of the specifics that we have done and some examples. So related to the dialogue with the contractors and suppliers, we've had dialogue now with between 50 and 100 suppliers about EqHub. We trained them and showed them how to use EqHub. And also within the contractors, we've been talking to over 1,000 people who are dealing with information handling in projects, and we have talked to them about EqHub and how EqHub is going to be utilized in projects. And the feedback we get is that the suppliers are positive, the contractors are positive. They are happy about the fact that the whole industry now is gathering around EqHub. So it looks promising for 2023. Here we also show a little bit about activities related to training and dialogue with the suppliers. So for next year, you can see that we will work quite a lot with communicating and training suppliers going forward. We also want to state here that if there are some suppliers now in the webinar who have a requirement and not sure what to do, please contact our support. You can see the address here or on our website. Contact our support, and we will be in touch with you to give you the necessary training you need. Again, communication is important related to this concept. So what we have done is to be more and more active on LinkedIn, and we are promoting information, videos, how-to videos, and so on. So we will ask you all to sign up for the EqHub LinkedIn page, because there you will find a lot of fresh information about the EqHub implementation for the whole industry. We have also YouTube channels. So like this webinar and other webinars and videos and how-to videos are available. So please use that actively for your company if you need any information. And then also, if you need the budgets for the EqHub registration and approved EqHub registration, you can get that from support. That is also something we would like you to follow up. So going forward with EqHub, some highlights that we would like to talk about. So first of all, EqHub. EqHub is going to be one of the main bricks in an ecosystem related to material information handling. So, as you know, in offshore Norway, we have a solution that is called virtual inventory. It's a solution where all materials on all warehouses in the industry are stored. And the purpose of that is for the operators to share materials between them. But to be able to do that, they need the data upgraded to be able to find replacement products and similar products and so on. And this is all about data. So what we will do is to use EqHub as the basis for that type of data going forward. Also, when it comes to Magnet JQS, that's something all the suppliers needs to be registered in if they're going to deliver to oil and gas operators in Norway. What we are going to do there is to update the solution so that you can promote your product in Magnet JQS directly. And in Magnet JQS, all the purchasers from all the operators are using that system. So if you want to promote your data, you can then open up and use the data from EqHub and promote that in Magnet. So that's one example of usage of data. We will come into TIRK and SPIR. It's new initiatives, but EqHub will be used to promote requirements, information requirements and document requirements to suppliers. So there will be one place to see the requirements and not specifications and other type of systems. It will be EqHub. Another example is the Loop service. Loop is a service for handling surplus material in the industry. That means selling out used or old or surplus material out of the industry. In a lot of cases, you need to document the equipment that you are going to deliver, and EqHub will, in that case, be also used for combining and load document for the product that is going to be sold. So as you can see in our own ecosystem, EqHub is quite important. And if you see in the bar in the middle, for you as contractors or suppliers or operators, you will see that during the development of new assets or new hardware on the assets, you will need EqHub. In operations, purchasing and maintaining and so on, you will need documentation, you will need data about what you're going to purchase. EqHub will be relevant for that. And also related to decommissioning going forward. Because you are going to decommissioning, you need instruction manual about components and equipment. And in that case, EqHub can be used to find documents to handle that kind of process as well. So the purpose of going through this is to show that our strategy is to make EqHub more connected with what's going on in projects, operations, decommissioning, and also we will combine that and align it with other industry products that offshore Norway is delivering to the industry. And then just quickly through some of these things that will happen next year related to EqHub. So earlier we had a TIRK. TIRK means Technical Information Requirements Catalog. It was a catalog that was promoted related to requirement to suppliers and contractors The challenge was that the only information you found there was document requirements, not data requirements. So what we have done is to create we have created a new version that will be launched quite early in 2023, a new version of this technical requirement catalog, but we will implement that in EqHub. So you will only go to EqHub, and there you will find what you need to deliver of documents and data when you deliver according to the requirements from the industry. So our aim is to simplify that process, not having to read a lot of PDF documents on requirements or go to this and that system where you only find half the truth. You will go to EqHub, and there you will see all requirements related to what you're going to deliver. Also, some of you will recognize the challenges related to the spare process. The spare process is the process where suppliers recommend spare parts for operations of materials, both in projects and also in maintenance projects and operations. And it's a big challenge where the current process is that you are using Excel spreadsheets, which are all over the place, and then you're trying when you're entering this into operations to gather all this information and based on that purchase what was recommended and so on. So it's going to come, and we're working in offshore Norway now with a new initiative related to the spare handling process, which is quite important for the industry. Why do we mention this related to EqHub? Yes, the point with EqHub is that we will also, in the future, in the next generation of EqHub, be able to link parts to main equipment. And we only wanted to do that once in EqHub, so you can reuse that in the spare part processes going forward. So this shows just an example of where we will reuse data from EqHub in these processes. And what we will say is that when this is, we will test this in some projects for 2023, and of course we will communicate with the whole industry when this is more settled, and we will take the next steps around these things. So, going forward, what is the focus areas for EqHub? In 2023, all operators will continue and intensify their implementation of EqHub. And there is, for some of the operators that we are talking to, they have their own people and their own projects internally to do the change related to EqHub, so that they can implement EqHub the right way and get the benefit out of EqHub. We also have dialogue with international organizations related to EqHub and international oil and gas operators. Equinor and ConocoPhillips will use EqHub in some extent in some of their international operations. But there's also an interest from, for instance, IRGP going forward to use EqHub. And what we will do is to open up for that and have the dialogue with our stakeholders, which is the operators in Norway. But the feedback and what should I say? The potential here is that we can get international suppliers to load in data in EqHub, and the whole value with EqHub is that the more data about the equipment that we can register, the more benefit it will give for projects and operations in Norway. So we will explore that more in the coming year. We will also work on new technology. So there will be some new, or the technology will look different at the point next year. The concept is the same, but it will be more open and easier to use and easier to load in information and so on going forward. We will also work with related to digital passport. Digital passport is something that will come as a requirement for equipment from EU. The background for that is sustainability, and EqHub related to the digital passport will be potentially a part or give information as a part of digital passport going forward. And the reason we mention this here is that this will be a requirement from EU for produced material and equipment the coming years. So we need to have a look at that. So to sum up, the major drivers for this initiative in our industry is the main operators in Norway, supported by the major contractors. EqHub is now from next year a part of the standard portfolio of services from Offshore Norge. So that means that the funding of the initiative will be based on the Offshore Norge budget. And that means that the cost for this will be covered by that, and there will be no cost in addition to EqHub for any other suppliers or contractors or operators. So that means that everyone can get access and start to use EqHub. Yes?
Yes. Thank you, Ingvar. So it's always nice to get an overview of EqHub. Before we move on to the Q&A session, I would just like to highlight what Ingvar said about the EqHub community. So you can already now check out our brand new onboarding center on YouTube. And then you can also follow us on LinkedIn, where you get the updates on the latest events, for instance. So moving on to the Q&A, we see that there are already some good questions coming in, and if you have any more, please feel free to ask them, preferably in the questions tab, but also in the chat. So starting off with a question from Alan. In relation to eSpear, will there be a more in-depth presentation planned after your trial projects?
Yes, there will be. So we will invite for that, and we will use the EqHub community to promote that information. Yes.
Good. So Christian asks, there is a significant number of projects starting 2023. Will Offshore Norway provide training for all suppliers? Who shall suppliers contact to receive training?
Yes, we will provide training for all suppliers that needs training. Some suppliers have already used EqHub before, and in some cases they can then use our webinars and on our onboarding center to find the information they need. But the ones that needs support, we will give support. And if they need support, they will go to www.eqhub.no, and they will find information on who to contact there.
Yes. So moving on to the next one. Let's see. So moving on to the next one. Yes. So can you say something about the offshore wind industry? Did you have any contact with any suppliers in this industry, like WTG suppliers?
We have started some dialogue with some suppliers. And also when it comes to some of the operators, like Equinor and some of the big projects coming, their aim is to use EqHub for the wind industry. So we will follow that up. Some of the challenges at the moment that we will need to handle is requirement and documented data requirement for those kind of deliveries, which is not settled at the moment. So this is something that we need to work on. But definitely, yes, this is something where EqHub will be used.
Good. So Hans Petter asks, is it possible to try EqHub, like a demo or test the platform?
Yes, So if you're a supplier, operator, or contractor, you can contact the support, and you can be given access to the system.
Yes. And Gamsa asks, how do you perform training sessions, online or physical? And how much time do you need to meet up when we order a training session?
We do all of that. So we can have physical meetings if it's needed, and we have done that quite a few times this year with big audiences. So we can do that. And how long time do we need? We are quite flexible. Of course, we are busy people, some of us, but within the following week, we should be able to have a session if needed.
Yes. Okay. So moving on to another question. Thank you for all the questions, and we will answer them within 11 o'clock. And I can also say that you can vote on the questions that you would like us to answer first. But we will also get back to anyone who asked questions that we won't have the time to answer here. So Trygve asks, could you say a few words on the pricing model for Collaborate Basic?
Yes. So the pricing model is that as long as EqHub is a basic service in the industry, it means that it's covered by the membership fee in offshore Norway. So it means that no one is paying for accessing EqHub going forward.
Yes, thank you. Let's move on to the next question. Will there be a new update in TIRK Z018 soon that includes what looks like DNV GL RP 0101 Turk STI for subsea?
Yes, there will be. So when we launch the new technical information requirement in EqHub in January, the subsea side will also be available, which is this RP that was mentioned.
Great. So I believe we have a couple more questions. So Per-Ove asks, document requirements are populated in TIRK. Will attribute requirements also, I guess, be included?
Yes, it will be. And that's why we created a new technical information catalog to promote data attributes as well and data requirements. So the answer is yes.
Thank you. And Paul asks, what's the reaction from the OEMs regarding this new model of quotation sharing spares?
The reaction is we haven't got too much reaction on that. So what we want to achieve is that they deliver the information about our main product and what it consists of. And normally you can see that in a drawing, but we want it in as data, so we can reuse it in the spare processes and efficient use that data. So, but the general reaction related to EqHub from the OEM is quite positive. They can see the benefit of this.
Great. And I believe that we answered all the questions that has come through. And that's actually on the dot 11. So that was great. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you for your great questions. It's nice to see that there is a lot of engagement around EqHub. That's what we see every day. So thank you so much. As we mentioned, you can reach us on support@eqhub.no. You can stay tuned at eqhub.no, and also follow us on LinkedIn for more updates. So thank you so much, and bye from you and me.
Bye bye.